Welcome to our video on cooking with dried mushrooms. Today we're going to be using the shiitake mushrooms. They've been dried and sealed into a cellulose pack, so no plastic used. We're also going to be using the Focus and Fortify 5 mushroom blend. You can see we do quite a few other mushrooms. So we'll be using a little jar for reconstituting the mushrooms in. They've been dried. We've got about 10 to 12 mushrooms in the jar. And we're going to soak them overnight. So we're going to add water to them now and soak them overnight. You can soak them for 2 to 3 hours, but overnight's better. You can see how much bigger and plumper they get. We've pretty much filled the jar now. So they've tripled in size maybe. Now that your mushrooms are whole again, we're going to strain off the liquid. Of course, we're going to keep that liquid. That'll be part of the broth for the noodles. You just want to get all of the water out of it now. As I mentioned, they grow to about 3 times their size. They probably started about 4 times as they shrink quite a lot. They lose almost 90% of their weight when they're dried. So that 25-gram bag of mushrooms was actually 250 grams of fresh mushrooms. Time to get some onions sliced up. You don't have to worry about having them finely chopped for this dish. Sliced is great. Same thing for the mushrooms. Sliced into 3, 4, 5 slices depending on diameter. We'll be cooking the mushrooms and onions together. Mushrooms are quite absorbent and will absorb the flavors of the cooking onions. This also works with garlic butter very well. Get all of that into the pan. We'll now add extra virgin olive oil. This is a non-stick pan, so we can do the oil after throwing the product in. That's fine. And that way we're not overcooking the oil. Let's bring those to a great saute. You can see the onions are starting to get glassy, and the mushrooms are starting to brown, and that's what we're after. Next up, adding some veggies. We've got some broccoli, and we've also got broccoli sprouts that I've been growing. So just simple florets for the broccoli. I generally like to have some sort of brassica in the dish. Some sort of cabbage is great. Broccoli is lovely, of course. So once you've got it all into florets, they'll be going into the pan with the mushrooms and onions. Once they're at their correct brown and caramelly-ness, which is looking quite good. This is about 8-10 minutes into cooking on medium heat. You can see most of the oil is gone. That's all absorbed into the mushrooms with the flavors of the onions. Broccoli is in the pan, and we're going to ladle our broth over top. The broth is bone broth with garlic, ginger, fennel seed, and of course that mushroom soaking liquid. And now we're going to introduce Focus and Fortify mushroom powder into the broth. This does add some depth to the flavor, but its main purpose is imparting the incredible medicinal and nutritional benefits of the 5 mushrooms that are in it. If you go onto our website, meteormushrooms.com, and look up Focus and Fortify, at the bottom of the descriptions is a list of all the mushrooms with their incredible medicinal uses and benefits. Well, it's time to add some noodles. You can use all different types of noodles for this dish. I'm just using a rice vermicelli, which will cook really quickly into that broth and doesn't really need to be pre-cooked. it's just time to combine the two pots. It should also be said you can make this dish in a single pot, just slightly different process. All right, this is looking and smelling very good. Just want to tenderize the broccoli a little bit more, so lid on, another 30-40 seconds. It's time to add some miso. You don't want to add miso directly to the boiling broth. So you separate a little bit of the liquid, put it into the bowl. It's instantly going to start cooling. And then you can add some of the miso paste to that cooling liquid, keeping alive those beneficial fungal and bacterial cultures that live in it that are so good for your gut biome. So that's everything cooked and complete, and now you just add all of that onto the bit of miso. There's a few flavor additives you might want to put in. I would say definitely some cultured soy sauce, and then a little drizzle of sesame oil makes a great finish. And of course you want something fresh to finish. We got these beautiful broccoli sprouts. That's the dish, and you can make that with lots of different variations. You know, change the noodle, change the mushroom, change the broth. This was, of course, with dried shiitake mushrooms. So, dried shiitake noodles is the dish. And, of course, using the Focus and Fortify 5 medicinal mushroom blend to promote healthful living. Thanks for joining us for dried shiitake noodles from Nelson, British Columbia by meteormushrooms.com.